Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
All right, we're back. You didn't think you were getting rid of us that easy, did you? No. So what happens, guys, when you call in on the phone like that, for whatever reason, StreamYard has a big red button that you would think is leave the stream. And when Tim hit it, it actually ended the stream. I did that on Good Morning Lambo one time when I was a guest. So it happens all the time. We'll just jump right back into it here. And appreciate Tim jumping on with us. We'll just end that as hour one. We're good, man. It's worked out great.
That's perfect. We actually planned that. It's crazy.
Yes. Why are y'all asking questions in the chat?
Yeah, don't be weird.
What we were going to do. Just
quit being weird.
So hopefully we'll get everybody back in here, man. I know we had a bunch of people. You guys know the deal. Hit that like. And make sure you sub to the channel if you're new here. So this is what they were talking about in the chat, Jacob. Aaron Banks, obviously we talked about has a helmet to participate in the beginning of practice after missing a day and a half with a back injury. That's good news. And then he went on to say Savion Williams has also returned to practice after missing Friday with a concussion. So even though he didn't have his helmet with him, seems like he's at least out there. Maybe Savion wasn't on the practice field at all. Maybe Matt Schneidman, maybe he's not competing in everything in practice, just getting back on the field. I don't know. But hopefully we'll get a little bit more wind on that because that's good news, man. Savion, it seems like every year, Jacob, it happened with Edgerrin Cooper last year. The reason Edgerrin Cooper couldn't get on the field early in the season is because he missed a lot of training camp, right? So I think it's really, really important that Savion doesn't fall behind. And, I said it earlier too. It's kind of like what we had talked about with Javon Bullard and Evan Williams. We were all on this show way more excited about Javon Bullard than Evan Williams.
Yep.
And then by the end of the year, Evan Williams was the better player. Matthew Golden, I am jacked about. But I would not be surprised if Savion ends up being the better receiver. We've seen it happen time and time again. You just never know which one's going to pop. And that's why you take multiple swings. Luke Musgrave, second-round pick. Tucker Kraft, third-round pick. Tucker Kraft. Clearly better than Luke Musgrave, at least to the point in their careers. So I don't know. What do you think about all that? And I think it's good news Savion's back, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. I actually, I'm always a sucker for the underdog. So I actually, in my mind, I view Savion Williams as, I don't want to say better, but I think that his ceiling could be potentially higher just because of so many ways that we could use him in this offense. The concussion did absolutely kind of take me back a little bit because it's like if that, nowadays that's pretty much, it's almost as bad as an ACL. You know what I mean? Like the concussion nowadays, because if you get more than a few, the league is basically going to just stop it. They don't want that bad press. They don't want that kind of thing. The whole Will Smith movie. Thanks a lot, Will Smith. You haven't done anything for us since Fresh Prince. I'm just I'm just saying he makes me mad. I really do want him to be a contributor on this team, and it might be a little biased of me to think that he can come in and do it year one. We have so much in that group. You know what I mean? Like we've talked about Reed, Wicks, obviously. If Watson could come back, it'd be absolutely amazing. The Musgrave thing too, like you said, that is very interesting. I always forget that we went back to back second and third round tight ends. I don't remember I think I was so excited that we got Kraft because again, that was one of my guys during that draft, but that's such a weird, interesting draft where you go back to back tight ends, second and third round. That's crazy. I'm really excited. I do feel like everybody, you got the hopium going on at this time of year, but I think that this season is different. We really do have a reason to be absolutely excited because of the fact that, we forget, guys, that we had the youngest team for the last 2 years. That means that now all of that progression has come to fruition now, and we're finally seeing what I think is going to be not the ceiling, but we're starting to reach the potential of some of these second, third, first year guys that have another stint at it. It's great that we have Hafley coming in for year two. Obviously, most of the offensive scheme, most of the offensive coaches have been guys that are familiar with this. Like this isn't learning a new playbook. This isn't doing an overhaul. This isn't a revamp. This is coming back in and saying, hey, how are we going to tweak this to make ourselves better this year? I personally feel like that we really do have a window right now, and I hate that terminology. Like, every year you have a window, a certain team does, but I really do think that right now, the way that the front office, the way that Goody, the way that Mike Murphy, the way that these guys have formatted our team, right now we're optimal right now for having a season where we win the trophy. And I really do think that obviously that's why we're here. That's what we talk about. That's why we're dedicated to this game. I think that, and I'm not being a homer, I think that this year we can get the Lombardi. I really do think that.
I think the window's open, and you guys know how I felt last year. I kept telling everybody, like, man, it's so hard to be the youngest team in the league and win the Super Bowl, and still haven't gotten a clear answer on how many teams have actually done that, because there's conflicting reports of this side says this team was younger, that team was younger. Do you count the preseason age, the midseason age, the end of season age? There's a lot of things come to play. The point is, it's rare that the youngest team in the league goes on to win the Super Bowl. But this year, you got a little bit older. Aaron Banks, veteran. Nate Hobbs, veteran. McCole Hardman, veteran. Right now, you lose Jair, and obviously you bring on your draft class, but it does kind of feel like you got a little more veteran presence. And all those I mentioned could potentially be all three. All three could be starters. Two of the three definitely. McCole Hardman might emerge as a starter. You never know. But one of the players that's mentioned here, someone had asked in the chat. I don't know where it's at now. I unmarked it. That's my bad. But anyway, they were asking about the new running back, Izzy. I think his name's Israel, and it's Abanikanda, I believe is what it was, right? As you can see here, Matt Schneidman tweets out, first player to wear Jair Alexander's number 23 jersey is recently signed Izzy. So there you go. There it is, Robert. Thank you so much, Robert. Says, what a solid running back room, talking about how he looks good here. So hopefully he'll stick, and it's probably going to be more of a practice squad guy. But as you guys know, when we get through the season, or we get halfway into the season, injuries are going to happen. The running back gets beat up quick. So wouldn't be surprised if he gets activated a game or two if he does stick on the practice squad. We'll see, though. It's early, and he's got to embrace the offense and all of those things as well. Holmes MD1 says, I challenge anyone to name a deeper running back room in the NFL. I completely agree, especially with Emmanuel Wilson. Emmanuel Wilson, I think, is so underrated, it's not even funny. So I want to give a shout-out to Holmes MD1 real quick. Became a member here on YouTube. Appreciate you, buddy. I know you've been a member before, probably just re-upped it, but thank you so much. If you guys want to support the channel, make sure you just hit that join tab here on YouTube, or you can join our Patreon group, which is patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We're going to be doing a giveaway this evening. You still got time. I'm going to tell anybody who wants to enter themselves into the giveaway, either be a member here on YouTube or be a member of our Patreon group. We're going to be giving away an autographed Dontavion Wicks rookie card tonight on the show. So when we go live at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, we'll put everybody's name on a wheel, spin it, and give that away. So we appreciate everybody that's a member here on YouTube and in Patreon. So what do you think about the running back room, Jacob?
I mean, I think it's honestly, I saw Chuck here disagreed. He said Holmes low key Baltimore with Lamar, but you said overall room, or you said room, not overall running. I just, like you said, Emmanuel Wilson, what did he graded out like a 92, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he was insanely good.
It was in the 80s. I know that
80s?
he was
Okay.
Yeah, he was I think he was a top 10 graded back.
I thought maybe like one of his stats was a 92. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Like, and then you look at the guy like Chris Brooks. I mean, somebody that he's not a household name. Nobody knows who that is. But when you come in, and Coach LaFleur had a lot of confidence in him, to the point where he's playing him in key points of key games. Obviously, we didn't even see what Marshawn Lloyd has to say about the situation. And Israel had to get let go of the Jets because, in honesty, the Jets had a really great running back room too. They had Breece Hall, they have Braylon Allen, they drafted another gentleman in this last draft. So that's why he was able to slip through the cracks, kind of thing. And I'm telling you, man, look at this. Packers on top. I'm sorry. Here you go. Wilson had a grade better than Saquon Barkley.
Dang.
As far as PFF goes. And it wasn't a small sample size, guys. It was, I really do think Emmanuel Wilson needs to get a little more respect on his name, because the dude just, all he did is came in and exceeded any expectations that we had of him. And, I would argue that, yeah, I think that at least top 5 running back rooms in the league, no question. Like Josh Jacobs, I think we kind of skirt past how much of a difference maker he was for this team. I think that Josh Jacobs single-handedly transformed the way the Green Bay runs their offense. Is that fair to say, Clayton? I mean, all of a sudden we're starting to we want to change our identity on the offensive line because we want more road graders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talked about that. Aaron Jones was here when Matt LaFleur took over in 2019. You started to implement the wide zone boot and a hybrid version of the offense, that coupled with kind of what Mike McCarthy ran, and then you slowly started to press a little more into what Matt LaFleur wanted to do. So, yeah, you were more wide zone looks and boot action off of it. And then you noticed a couple of years in with Matt LaFleur, actually it was the final year of Aaron Jones, you started to see a little bit of duo. And with duo, guys, it's a zone blocking scheme. It's an inside zone run. You can run it outside as well if you like, but it's a zone blocking scheme, same as outside zone, but it's a double vertical power, right? So you start to see more of that. And then when you go sign Josh Jacobs, we immediately shifted the conversation to, are we going to run inside the tackles a lot more now that he's gone? Because Aaron Jones would go C gap left and end up B gap right. I mean, he would just dance all over the place. And Jacobs can do that too. But Jacobs was really, really fit for that duo run because it's just patience, make your cut, and go. Now, we've seen Jacobs hit him with the spin move last year. We've seen him run through people's faces. We've seen him stiff arm the honey badger. Like, dude runs with power, don't get me wrong. But his patience in the backfield is really, really set up nicely for duo. And really, it's kind of a combination, Jacob, because that's I think another reason why they wanted to move on from Josh Myers. Josh Myers getting to the second level in duo when he's looking to dig out a safety or dig out a backer. Boy, he had the athleticism to get there, but when he got there, he couldn't get under control and make the block. Elton does that as good as anyone in the game. So if you're going to continue to have the center be a key displacement piece in terms of duo running, Elton Jenkins fits that to a T, and now you bring in Aaron Banks. So what you got to ask yourself is, did you upgrade? You replaced Josh Myers with Aaron Banks. The answer is yes. It was a significant upgrade because Elton's going to center now, and Aaron Banks is going to step into Elton's spot. So I'm really excited to see what the running back room can do. And, yeah, we definitely pressed more into duo for Josh Jacobs' arrival. Definitely. Coach Lynn says Josh Jacobs made the honey badger retire, LOL. There's no doubt. Look, if you don't believe me, I've got the proof here. I got the visual evidence right here on hand if I can find it. Right there. That's the one that said, honey badger said, I think I'm done, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. All right. So here's a cool clip that we got from practice. As Ryan Wood tweeted out, goal line throws, Jordan Love to Luke Musgrave in the back end zone, Malik Willis to Tucker Kraft at the line. I love that combo. Malik throw, and maybe they're mixing and matching, I'm sure they are, but Malik throwing to Tucker while Jordan works with Luke Musgrave. Listen, Jordan Love and Tucker Kraft are on the same page. We've seen it all year last year. We need to get Luke Musgrave kind of back up to par, right? So I think that's another thing that people were overlooking. When you hear 12 personnel, you think condensed sets, double tight end sets attached to the line. Let's run the ball, play action off of it. As we've seen early in practice already with some of the footage that came out, you're starting to see Musgrave flexed out in the one. We've seen a video where he was in the one, meaning it was a tray right and what we would call tray right one, meaning it was tray right Y1 is what you would call it, where him being the Y in that particular set and him being the tight end aspect of the three targets on one side, he was the outside receiver. So I'm excited to see what Luke Musgrave can do, man, because the reality is coming out of college, Jacob, he had more potential than Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft, this is a perfect example of why you take two swings at a position of need. Tucker Kraft just pressed in and just took that number one tight end spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't a knock on Musgrave or anything like that. You know, the guy didn't have like a lacerated kidney from taking a shot and still played.
Finished the game.
Finished the game.
Internal bleeding.
We talk about, and don't get me wrong, I love Tucker Kraft. I think that he is the Marlboro man. He is, if I could embody myself as an NFL player, I'd want to be Tucker Kraft. That's my guy. But I think we're maybe throwing a little too much shade on Musgrave for not being able to stay healthy or whatever, you want to say. Musgrave stayed on his feet, all that kind of stuff. It's going to take a minute, for him to acclimate to the NFL. Like you said, most of the time, draft picks just don't work out in general. The fact that we had two tight end picks, that one of them I consider Tucker Kraft an absolute stud. I think that people don't have enough respect on his name. I think he's a top 5 tight end in this league right now. I really do believe that. Musgrave is a guy that has to earn it a little bit more. He's got to show that he can stay healthy. He's got to show that he can stay on his feet, that he can catch the ball and not baby, gazelle it. But I think that he has earned enough respect from him doing what he's done and fighting through injuries to, and also I believe that Matt LaFleur has a plan for him. I really do believe that he has an actual game plan where he's going to use him in certain situations, certain packages to absolutely exploit defenses. Because again, we've said this multiple times, who are you going to guard? Who are you going to guard? If we're, even like you said, if we're in 12 personnel and maybe we motion out a guy like Musgrave and all of a sudden there's a safety on him, like, okay, let's see how you do with that. Like, I would love to see that. It would be great to see how you're going to cover these guys all at once. I just think that we've built a team. We've built a collection of talented players to the point where, like, at any given time, if Matt LaFleur schemes the play up the right way, there's just no way that you can cover every single one of them. The physics aren't there. The math doesn't math. We're going to have guys streaking open, and if they are, that's where it's on Jordan Love to hit those guys, find those guys, and figure out how to finish that play.
Yeah. Bill Huber checking in here on Twitter. Go give him a follow at Bill Huber NFL. Said here the Packers' new running back, Izzy Abanikanda. No, I'm still butchering it.
Decent.
I'm just going to start calling him Izzy. All right, Izzy. Yeah. Now he's calling him Israel. Everybody else is calling him Izzy. I don't know what the hell to do. So here the Packers' new running back, Israel. Running back Amar Johnson's back after missing the start of camp. Left guard Banks is doing some indie. Not sure what that means. Maybe indoor stuff. Wide receiver Savion Williams ran some routes with the trainer. So you got Savion out there working with the trainer off to the side, still running routes, getting the work in, but probably not, probably staying away from bodies, if that makes sense. But the big thing here, Jacob, we talked about Amar Johnson missing some camp. Can't make the club in the tub. Talk about the absences. I think he's seen them sign Izzy and said, I'm getting my ass back out there, hill or high water tomorrow. I'm back in the lineup. So Amar Johnson, I am way more excited about Amar Johnson than I am Izzy, just me personally. But I don't know, what do you think about it, man? It looks like Amar's stepping right back into camp. I'm going to try not to miss a beat here.
Yeah, and he's a jackrabbit, isn't he?
Yes, he is. That's
Amar
correct. Amar is,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a little bit of a. I don't know if Tucker played with him or not, but that to me, if Tuck says you're the guy, you're the guy. All right, I'm gonna listen to him. I listen to the Marl man. I am actually very excited about Izzy, and that's, again, I'm gonna call him that from now on because that's just easier. I think that would be a great addition, and obviously it's a tough room to crack. Like, how great is it when we take a step back and realize that multiple groups, positional groups, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, you can't crack them if you're going to be a UDFA, just because we have so much talent there. And if you do crack them, that means that you're exceedingly a great player. So again, barring injury, all that kind of stuff we talk about. Do I see him making the 53? No. Do I see him being a possible impact player in this team down the road if injuries do occur? I absolutely do. And I think that he could be just a really great puzzle piece that maybe doesn't come to fruition now, maybe in a few years, like after, let's say that Jacobs, God forbid, has only a small tenure here, or Wilson gets, somebody finally realizes that he's a gem, and they shark him off of our team. Whatever the case may be, it's nice to know that we have such a loaded hopper to the fact that we've got guys that are on our practice squad that could be starters. I think that's unbelievably great development by our front office, and that's why the Packers are the way that they are.
Yeah, let's go to the chat here. Packers on top said Tucker did play with Amar. Chris the Casual In says Amar is a stud as well. It's crazy that room is flooded with elite talent. And then Adrian pointed out Izzy has some kick return ability too. So that's very, very interesting. Teams in the chat says keep Savion on jugs all the time. I'm with you, man. Don't, you know what I mean? Listen, I love that they got him working on the routes off to the side. When the pads come on, I'm going to be a little bit nervous for Savion early on. I'm going to be honest with you.
Me too.
And here's the thing. One concussion could have been a freak thing, right? If he has another one in camp, sound the alarms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm being honest, because that's just I can't remember a time, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, a time when someone had 2 concussions in training camp here in the last 5 to 10 years. You know what I mean? I'm sure it happened a lot when they were running 4 days back in the McCarthy days, and a lot of concussions didn't get reported back then too. That's for sure. So, yeah. But chat's on fire. Appreciate y'all hopping over here from the other stream. I apologize for the inconvenience there.
That's a great question. Do we know how he got concussed?
No,
I haven't seen that anywhere.
No clue, Chuck. And here's the thing: it was kind of strange because when it was first announced he was going to miss practice, Matt LaFleur did not say why. And when I heard that, I'm like, did the media not ask him what happened? Did they not get a chance to ask him what happened? Who knows? But it was a little strange because it would have gotten reported on the practice field. Right.
And do you remember what he said? He said they asked him about him and he goes, I don't know, ask Wallers.
Yeah, right.
Who's Wallers?
That's probably the trainer.
But I'm just saying, like, why, like you said, why the shiftiness of the answer? Why not just like give us a concrete,
right
definition of what happened there? Like I'd like that. It's weird. What do you think about, just as an aside, we've talked about how Matt LaFleur went from aw shucks LaFleur to Tupac LaFleur. I hate saying this, but I do sometimes. I'm like, man, Matt, you're kind of mean. Like he's almost with the press. Don't get me wrong.
You went from, man, I'm sick of this pretty boy. He needs to toughen up. Now Jacob's going, calm down, man. Damn,
I'm just saying, like sometimes that people ask him questions and he just looks at them like he pooped in their cereal. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have no time of day. And sometimes the questions are legit. Although I will argue, I think I text Clayton early this morning. I say, hey, Matt LaFleur's live. And Clayton goes, yeah, and they're asking him dumb questions. It was. There was, hey, Matt, do you think it's nice that they practice in hot weather? And he's like, I don't control the weather, dude.
Matt said, is it supposed to be hot? He literally said, it's supposed to be hot. I didn't know. I was just like, and listen, and Jacob, I get why he doesn't answer the question. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you a personal question. You don't have to say where the work was. I'm just going to throw a random number out. Think back 2 jobs ago, right? So you may have to go back 20 years. I don't know. But 2 jobs ago, did you ever go into work like, I don't want to talk to these people? Because I know I have. You think about being in a place where, and
most mornings.
And here's the thing. You got to put yourself in the coach's shoes too. And here's what I mean by this. You go into that media room, and this isn't a dig at the media, man. I've got a lot of respect for the guys who cover the team. I really do. I think we've got one of the best, group of beat writers and everything in all of the National Football League. But when you go in there as a coach and you read their last article and here's the thing, they may not personally be reading it, but the PR guy goes to the coaches that they're going to ask you about this, they're going to ask you about that. Watch out for this. This guy wrote this article. They're digging here. They prep these coaches and players. There's no 2 ways about it. But imagine you go in knowing that someone wrote an article talking about you're doing a bad job, or wrote an article that this player is a bust halfway through the season, and they're going to ask you about it. I think Matt handles it way better than I could. I'm just being honest. Because the other thing, too, that the media members do now is they piggyback. And what I mean by that is they get together beforehand. And this isn't a shot at them. They're doing their job. Please don't take this the wrong way. But look at it through Matt's eyes. Imagine you going into work and a PR person or management coming to you going, hey, listen, these employees over here, these 3 employees, they've been talking behind your back. Yeah. And he's going to ask you one question while the other one asks you another. And they're going to try to tee you up for the 3rd question to get you to say something you might not want to say. Be aware. Yep. And then you go in and stand in front of the camera, which you don't want to be in front of the camera anyway. And you're just like, yeah, I think he handles it pretty well. I would be an absolute monster.
Right. Whiskey 61 gave us a little bit of insight here. He goes, Jason Wallers is the vice president of communications for the Green Bay Packers, a position he has held since January 23rd of the 2018 season. That's awesome. Also, we got some updated camp talk. Hopper pick love. Okay. And nice. It looks like that linebacker Tyron Hopper picked off Love. The quarterback did not see him dropping into zone coverage. I like it. As much as it sucks to, have – I like to see Hopper making some inroads there.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it, man. We need him to step up for sure. Like Tim got the water break in. I love it. We'll hit on that here in a second. So yeah, Hopper time. Who tweeted that out? Because I'm not seeing it on the old Twitter. I must not have gotten to it yet. Here.
Not sure, but I have multiple comments talking about it. So it happened, Clay. It happened.
It happened. I believe. I'm not saying it's fake news. I'm just trying to figure out who it was because we might have a footage of it or something. But nonetheless, here you see new cornerback Garnett Hollis Jr., number 41, also in house for a sweltering practice at Nitschke. It's so hot, Larry isn't wearing a jacket. So about Larry McCarron, I would imagine. But so, again, this could be a camp body. This could be someone that's fighting for a practice squad spot. If injuries occur and he flashes in camp, he might make the roster. I highly doubt it. But Spofford, there you go. Thank you. I asked that because I want to go follow him now. I'm following him, but I want to make sure he's up on the screen here so we can keep up there, Spofford. Let me hit that real quick. But yeah, in terms of what you said, though, Jacob, with Hopper, this is kind of put up or shut up, right? Like, I mean, you're entering, this would be, what is this? Is this year 2 or 3 for Hopper? Remind me.
Isn't it year 2?
I think it's year 2, yeah. So 3rd round pick, pretty much didn't play hardly at all last year, right?
Right.
So you're looking for someone like Hopper to be able to step in and actually make a difference this year, and yeah, you want him to be flashing for camp for sure. Go ahead, read that, and I'm going to try to pull this up.
Yeah, Holmes is just pointing out, Rock doesn't have his jacket on. Blasphemy. How about these hands? Is what he's saying out there. Everybody in the chat's confirming. Yeah, year 2.
How about these hands?
There you go. Carry on, Jacob.
No, it's just a great thing to see. I really do think that this team is gelling together, and this time of year, obviously, right before we're putting the pads on, I believe they're going to do it next practice, which would be tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. It's just great to see some of these guys are absolutely putting it on the line right now, and let's see. Yeah. You want to read that? Call,
Spofford giving play-by-play. I love it. So why don't we go back a little bit here, and we'll just kind of read all of his tweets real quick because he is covering it really, really good here. Yeah, Spofford's on it. What are we doing? Why did we not have him pulled up, man? So let's start here with his first tweet. Through 2 kicking sessions thus far in Packers camp, Brandon McManus is 15 for 15, along with 56 and multiples from 50 plus. We kind of talked about that yesterday. He went on to say 30 minutes ago, cornerbacks 1 and 2 working together on mirror drill for the Packers. Newcomer Hobbs is an intense, aggressive player. Too much so for training camp, maybe which LaFleur addressed Sunday, but it's a quality that was attractive in the free agent. So that's one of the reasons why they signed him. There's our boy Bullard. Bullard looking good, Jacob. Looking like he's ready to roll, man. I love he's got the dreads flowing this year too. Based on how the first team reps have gone for Packers defense thus far, Bullard is the top option in the slot when in the nickel. We kind of hit on that yesterday. There's always something the first week of camp that you go, all right, that seems to be like that's going to be a theme all camp long. Sounds like Bullard has taken that number 1 nickel spot, and being a 2nd-round pick, no surprise. That's why we were kind of talking about Hopper being a 3rd, stepping in to that linebacker room, maybe taking that away from McDuffie and maybe Isaiah Simmons. But nonetheless, man, Bullard is your slot corner, dude. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, and I'm here for it, bro. I mean, like you guys know, I'm the president of the Javon Bullard fan club. It makes me so upset that Ryan seems to have written him off already. I tell you, Ryan, I'm gonna hold this over your head. I will. If he starts being a like a Pro Bowl caliber type, cornerback, I'm gonna let you hear it, brother. I am, but I understand the frustration. I really do. He got thrown into a position last year where I think that he didn't have a lot of time to actually hone one position. Emilio talks about it quite a bit, how he was shuffled around a little bit, and that sucks. Like, imagine anything that you do, imagine your job, whatever that your job is, and they're like, hey, we got to cross train you on like 3 other positions, and by the way, at the last minute, I'm going to throw you into one that you haven't played before. I don't think that that's a fair assessment of a player, and I really do think, I mean, again, I'm biased, I really am, but you watch his tape in Georgia. This dude is the definition of a human meat missile. I believe that he will be firing at all cylinders this year. I think that Hafley understands now how to use him, which is another indicator. Like, we forget that Hafley, that was year 1 for Haffes too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he didn't understand necessarily how to use, like, he's the guy playing chess, but doesn't understand necessarily how his puzzle pieces fit. How the rook, how the pawn, how all this stuff goes. Like, he's going to understand now this year with a much more certainty and consistency, how they know how to play these parts of his defense. And I really do think that he's going to surprise a lot of people, even Ryan. I got you, Ryan.
Hey, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it for sure. I was trying to edit the latency settings here so you guys aren't a little bit delayed on your comments coming through, but there's nothing I can do where we had to start this one kind of real fast, but it'll be all right. So, yeah, Bullard, number 1 slot so far. Coach Lynn says, so Valentine is DB3. Coach, your guess is as good as mine, man. It does feel like that. It feels like you've got Keyshawn on one side, Nate Hobbs on the other, Javon Bullard in the slot. Carrington Valentine is currently on the bench in the nickel 4-2-5. He'll be what we call the dime back, right? Whenever we go to a dime set, he'll come onto the field if you ever go to a one linebacker set. So I don't know, man. That's kind of what it feels like right now. Robert says Bo Melton's getting outside cornerback reps with the ones. So they're giving our boy Melton every chance to make this roster, Jacob. I mean, they've already kind of moved on from wide receiver, and now they're trying to see, hey, can you add some kind of value there at corner? I personally don't think it looks good for Melton. But there's other people that see it and they think he's even more valuable. He's going to make the team. And who am I to say they're wrong?
Yeah. If I had to guess, if I kind of agree with you that this more looks like shuffling the deck so that he's out of it kind of thing. And I hate to say that, but I do think that there is a little bit of hope that if he has the chance to be maybe that 5th, 6th cornerback on this team that also has that special team ability, I really do think that could be the way that he is still on this team. I believe it was Coach that we talked about how he's our best gunner, hands down. He was our best gunner on special teams. That can get you a spot on this team on that 53. So do I think that he's going to all of a sudden come out and be Travis Hunter? He's playing both ways. Like, no, I don't think that anymore. Like there was a tiny minute where I thought, oh, wow, he's very, very great. Like maybe he could do both. It is awesome to know that if in a pinch, if something crazy happens, that the guy can all of a sudden switch from being a 5th or 6th string cornerback that can just jump into the offense and all of a sudden, be productive. Yeah, that's great to know that we have that in our back pocket, obviously. But if I'm being 100% honest with myself, I think his chances of making the team are going to be 50-50 right now in my eyes. I don't know. What would you give that chance?
Of what? Chance for what?
Bo Melton actually making the team, the 53.
Yeah, I'm honestly, the 53, as Joseph says, he's cornerback 4. Let's look at it. Let's take a quick look here. So, bye. Mandy's in there trying to tell me bye, being all quiet. And yeah.
Bye, Mandy.
Don't spend too much money. All right. She's out of here. All right. So, cornerback room. Drop that comment down for me real quick, Jake. Let's look at it. Let's see if we can figure this out. So, you got, like I said, Keyshawn Nixon, right? You got Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, and then you're going to have Carrington Valentine. They're slam dunks. Javon Bullard's a slam dunk to make the roster, right? So I definitely don't – now, if you're talking about outside corner number 4, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, right? If that's the case, so you're saying you would take Bo Melton over Kalen King, Micah Robinson, Isaiah Dunn. You got Tyron Herring, Junior Gregory. For me, I would probably put – I see the point. I do. He could possibly be the 5th cornerback right now. I personally like Micah Robinson better. And I know we haven't seen him in a game yet, but I like Micah Robinson better. But other than that, that's the only guy, Jacob, I can think of. Kalen King and Micah Robinson. So I would probably put him – I'd probably put him 6 or 7, me personally. So, yeah. As J. Cole says, don't underestimate Gregory Jr. either. Yeah, I mean, Goody loves his athletes. There's no doubt about it. So, yeah, man, to answer your question, Jacob, percentage chance of Bo Melton making the roster, if everyone's healthy, 10% that he makes it as a cornerback. Oof. Now, if wide receiver room gets banged up, which I doubt it does, maybe there's enough value there that he makes it in that regard. But, yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I could be wrong. Mike Spofford also said running back Josh Jacobs makes tough cuts look easy. Man, is he fun to watch. Completely agree with that. First, Packers DB rotation sends in Carrington Valentine at outside corner. The other side, Bo Melton. That's what everybody was talking about. Quay Walker, who is working his way back to full clearance from offseason ankle procedure, is standing 30 yards behind the defense, watching 11 on 11 today. Perhaps a sign he's getting closer to return. So yesterday, what we heard about was him just being on the sideline doing rehab stuff, right? Working the sled, things like that. Now he's standing behind the defense, getting closer, probably itching at getting in the lineup. I think we're probably going to see Quay as early as Monday, but definitely by the second full week of training camp, Quay will be back in the lineup. Mike Spofford says Jaden Reed on the end around, and Rashawn Gary comes across with a huge wind-up swat to knock the ball out near the sideline. So Gary popping over there on the end around. Tyron Hopper picks off Love. This is what you guys were talking about. The quarterback didn't see him dropping into zone coverage. Wide receiver Malik Heath follows through with a diving catch on a rollout left by Willis. Malik Heath is the guy I feel like not enough people are talking about, because we talked about his catch rate over expected and some of these advanced analytics that NFL Pro breaks out on their website. He led the team in, I think it was catch rate over expected, which means in layman's terms, guys, he made the most with the least, right? He made the most out of the least, if that makes sense. So when you look at the wide receiver room, Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Savion Williams, right? Christian Watson will start on pup, so you're up to 4. Dontavion Wicks is 5, okay? So who's going to be that 6th wide receiver? Malik Heath, Bo Melton, Mecole Hardman. It comes down to Mecole Hardman and Malik Heath for me. And you might carry an extra one this year, boys, I'm telling you. Malik Heath, I don't know if he'll stick on the practice squad this year.
I don't think he would. Think he would.
Somebody will pick him up because they've got access to the same amount of information, the same tape. And Jacob, what you see on tape with Malik Heath, minimal opportunities, but you get strong hands, can make contested catches,
blocking like a banshee.
Yeah, bigger body receiver, and he'll block you to the water cooler. I mean, what is there not to like? Now it just comes down to how thin the league is at wide receiver overall. Yeah.
So. I don't see a world where he doesn't get signed by somebody. You look at guys like the Baltimore receiving core, the Pittsburgh receiving core. Like these guys need guys, especially ones that are willing to block. Like you said, you don't think Harbaugh wants a guy that can block into the water cooler that is actually like a really, really good wide receiver that also has that talent. I don't see him making it through this round of cuts this year.
And one of the knocks on him coming out of college, I think he got a DUI in college, and that was why he sank on draft boards. Yep. Kept his nose completely clean up here in Green Bay the entire time. So I think you kind of put that worry behind us there. Mike Spofford also said Jaden Reed with a nice grab off a mini scramble by Love, but he can't get his feet in along the end zone sideline. Wasn't happy he missed that chance, though it was a really tough play. So you see in Jordan a little bit of scrambling ability there from according to Spofford. I'll go ahead and refresh his too just to make sure we're not missing anything else there. You seen anything else in the chat, Jacob, as I comb through social media here real quick?
Not necessarily, but I just think it's really, really cool that you guys are still falling back in this chat. We have over 400 plus watching after we accidentally left the stream mid conversation. So it's just a testament to how cool you guys are. And we appreciate you guys helping us out here. If you can hit that like, that subscribe, share the stream just so we can have other Packer fans get into this. Man, we are building something really special here going into this season. And I'm more excited than probably any season going in, just because we've all learned so much together through the draft, through the offseason process, now into the training camp. As we get into the preseason and then into the final season, it's just going to be freaking cool, man. So I'm glad you guys are here with us.
Yeah, definitely. Tim caught a water break here during camp, and you see the guys getting a little sauce there.
Look at Oliver hyping him up too, even though he doesn't have the helmet on.
I'm excited to see Colin Oliver on the field eventually. Look at Warren Branson, big old boy, number 91 there, right?
Look at Van Ness. Dude, Van Ness is big, bro.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, Van Ness, I'm just doing this. I'm going, because I know what happened the second half of the season last year. And I'm telling you, with a broken thumb, too, he's going to come out this year. And all those people, and I know it's not our chat, but all those people out there that were just dogging the hell out of him, he's a bust, he's this, he's that. They're going to – you ever seen that movie Major League 2? Jacob, you seen the Major League movie?
Of course, yeah.
Remember Major League 2? Cousin Eddie. Matter of fact, it's the same guy that played Cousin Eddie. He was all about the team, boy, and then when they hit a rut, he's just trashing the hell out of them. Then at the end, when they win, here he comes back down, just cheering along with everybody. Everything's fine and dandy again. I'm telling you, man, I've got some tweets that I have archived away and bookmarked that when Lucas Van Ness blows up this year, if he does, will make some people look silly on socials. I'm just telling you.
Good.
Because when you look at him in the second half of the season, it's funny. Go trade for TJ Watt. Go trade for Max Crosby. Go get LVN had a higher pressure rate than both of those guys last year.
Yep.
And that was after having kind of a bad first half of the year and then playing with a broken thumb. I think he's really going to crank it up this year. I'm excited to see what he does for sure. So you're right, though, man. He's a hoss. He is a monster, no doubt.
Look at him compared to the water girl. He's like, look at that. That's insane, dude.
Absolutely huge. Trying to see if Rob Domofsky or anybody has tweeted anything out here. As obviously they took a water break there just a second ago. We got Tim's feed up on the screen. I seen a tweet went out earlier about Emmanuel Wilson as well. So we've gotten quite a bit of information during this live stream, to be honest with you, Jacob. Aaron Banks had his helmet back with him. Savion Williams working his way back from a concussion. You got a lot of guys that were banged up that are starting to kind of get back in the fold. Quay really, really tuned in with the defense, even though he's not participating today. I would be really surprised if he's not in pads by the end of next week. Maybe tomorrow, man. Who knows? Maybe as early as tomorrow. Nathan in the chat says, Clayton, do you think after this year, if Luke Musgrave doesn't perform, do you think we take a shot at tight end next year? Yeah, I mean, if Musgrave plays at the level he did last year, I think there's a legit shot that he's not the dude. That could be the case. And again, we talk about the injury concerns, and again, this isn't saying he's soft. The dude played with internal bleeding, finished the game with internal bleeding fairly early in the game when he took that shot on the sideline. But a miss is a miss. The only thing worse than making a bad draft choice is refusing to admit you made a bad draft choice, right? So, yeah, there's a chance you take another shot at tight end. Now, the big thing with me, though, when we looked at the contracts, I think we've got Ben Sims. We still have his rights next year. So when you look at it, I personally like Ben Sims. I'm going to be honest. I like Ben Sims more than Musgrave up to this point. Now, Musgrave has a lot more potential than Ben Sims. John Fitzpatrick is more of that H-back role. You can put him back there at that wing position and just knock the linebacker's ass off in those goal line situations. Messiah Swinson, big body dude. He just hasn't been able to kind of crack in to the upper echelon of the Packers tight end roster. So, yeah, if Musgrave does exactly what he did last year, if he stays healthy and grades out in the 40s and we don't really see, man, he's just not as dynamic as we thought, I could see him taking a swing in the draft next year for sure. And who knows, maybe they go and try to find the next Ben Sims too, Jacob, right? Because I remember when we signed Ben Sims, you were excited about him. I rolled my eyes going, this is just another camp body. And I'm telling you, that dude maximized every opportunity he got at the tight end position.
Yeah, that's another one that I will humbly brag that for whatever reason, I'll be honest. I just love the underdog. So like most of the time I'm going to put a lot of stock in whether or not they can perform or whatever. But, what do you think about Ed Madison that he heard that Aaron Banks is back on the field right now?
Again, we heard he had his helmet. That's a good sign he was going to get on the field. I think he's probably going to be good to go. I think it was one of those things that the back got tight. LaFleur and them shut him down for a couple of days. Let's get him out there for pads. Tomorrow is when we're going to find out, boys. When the pads come on tomorrow, that's when we're going to know who's healthy and who isn't. Because right now, people can kind of blend in. Don't be surprised if we get a couple of injuries pop up today where someone's got some tightness, maybe someone's got some soreness, and they don't want to risk it with the pads on tomorrow. So I'm kind of expecting, rather than everybody get healthier going into tomorrow, I'm expecting us to have a slight setback with a couple of players, maybe them being precautionary with. Go ahead, read what Chris said there.
Yeah, Chris the Casual Packers Fanatic says, Ben Sims is an elite athlete. He can do much more than he's showed us thus far. Guys in the chat, if you could you give us a Ben Sims RAS, please? I know you guys are beyond that.
I remember it being high, man.
Hot on rise. If you could find that for me, that'd be great. And we'll come back to that in just a second here.
Yeah, for sure. And we got some Patreon questions we'll hit real quick in our Patreon group. It's just the way that you can kind of be heard here on the show. I'm going to leave this up, the practice in the background there, but we'll just kind of read them off the screen. Chris the Casual in our Patreon group said, if you had to bet it all, does future WWE star Lucas the Flaccid Hammer Van Ness hit 75% of his potential and become a Pro Bowl caliber pass rusher in a Green Bay Packers jersey? I think if we cipher through the BS, which Chris is really good at, and that's what I appreciate about Chris. I think what he's asking here is, do we think he will become a Pro Bowl caliber pass rusher? And here's what you got to ask yourself, Jacob. Let's compare it to Gary last year. Do we think that Lucas Van Ness can reach the potential that Gary unveiled last year, which he was a Pro Bowler? He led the all edge defenders in run stop percentage, or run stops in general. He led the Packers in sacks with 7.5. He led the Packers in a quarterback pressure percentage, other than Brenton Cox Jr., who had a little bit higher number there. Do we think that he can reach that point? Absolutely. Based off what he did in the second half of the season, he being Van Ness, on much fewer snaps than starting edge defenders usually have, and specifically in Matt LaFleur's heavy, hockey line rotation defensive front that he's done ever since he's gotten into Green Bay as head coach. I think he can be a Pro Bowler. What do you think, Jacob? What do you think the chances are that Van Ness eventually becomes a Pro Bowl player?
Yeah, I really do. I honestly do think that sometimes it takes a guy a few years to get acclimated, sometimes it just, whatever they're asking him to do necessarily doesn't fit what his traits are, what he's really, really good at. I think that Jeff Hafley is a unique type of coach where he understands, all right, I have to look at each individual player and I have to understand if I'm asking him to do something that isn't in their wheelhouse, you know what I mean? Like I need to understand if what I'm asking him to do is outside of his realm of possibility. And I think that LVN, just from him being a mountain of a man, an absolute human meat missile himself, is just now kind of maybe finding his niche too. Like it takes time. Like I can't imagine how it must be to go from the college level to the NFL level and thinking that you can just translate those exact traits and have that same performance. You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't work that way. I think that LVN is going to show a lot of people to be kind of stupid for the way that they talked about him. I mean, he's an absolute beast of a man. He's a mountain of a man. He's got the intangibles. It's just whether or not they can coach him up and to use them in the right way. I really do believe that you're going to see him take a step this year, in a point where it might even be like where guys on ESPN are talking about him. You know what I'm saying? Like where he's made that sort of drastic step. And just real quick, Doc in the chat and a few others, I appreciate you guys. Ben Sims did grade out exceedingly well. Very, very well. He was in the high 8s as far as RAS. Coach says he thinks he ran a 4.5. It looks like he had, like Holmes was saying, he was ranked 179 out of over 1,100 tight ends from the years of 1987 to 2023. So, yeah, he can fit the bill there. So we just got talent all over this roster, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, so, and it's still young too, which is absolutely wild. There's some teams that you go, man, that's a talented roster, but you look up and it's, I don't know, 20% of the roster is over 30 years old. And you're like, well, they're going to have a heavy turnover here in a year or two if they don't win the whole thing. So I know we got a bunch of people in here. We're about to crack 500 live viewers here. Thank y'all so much for making us a part of your day here with the live Green Bay Packers training camp coverage. If you would take a quick second, hit that like button, hit subscribe. If you're new here, welcome into PTA. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. What we are fans just like you. We go live daily talking Green Bay Packers. We do pregame shows, postgame shows, film analysis, the whole 9 yards. So make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon for notifications. That way you get notified every time we do go live. Nathan asked a question. Clayton, do you feel the same about the center position? Do we take a center next year? I'm going to answer this, Nathan. I'm going to kind of skirt the question a little bit, but I think it's important to mention this. Elton Jenkins, I think they're playing with Elton Jenkins, and I could be wrong. If Elton Jenkins comes out this year and he balls out and he's an all-pro center, Pro Bowl center, Jacob, they'll probably keep him around for the final year, guarantee a little bit of that second year that's left on the contract, and then focus on moving on after that. But if Elton Jenkins plays kind of at the level he has played, where it's not like this top 10 at his position type thing or top 5 at his position, I think there's a decent chance that next year what they'll do with Elton is they'll ask him to take a pay cut. And by pay cut, what we mean is convert some of his base salary to signing bonus to make it appealing for him, but lower the overall number of the contract. I think they may go that route. And you'll probably ask him, well, why would he do that? He would do that because he can get more guaranteed money rather than just being cut outright and having to move across the country to the next team and probably get less than he would have gotten here. Like many people thought Jair was going to break the bank wherever he went. Jair ended up with a contract worth $6 million. I could see that happening with Elton. That's why he would take, a little more guaranteed money, but less overall money, if that makes sense, just a little stability. Now, if they don't take that approach, Nathan, what's going to happen is they cut him loose because next year, basically his dead cap hit next year is $4.8 million, okay, if I remember correctly. His cap hit altogether is $28.8 million. So essentially you can free up $20 million in cap space if you cut Elton outright next year. Okay. So I think there's a decent chance they could go that route. If they do, Nathan, you always got to bring it back to precedent. Is there precedent for the Green Bay Packers to go out and draft a center and then start him immediately? Yes. They've done it multiple times throughout the years, even before Goody, right? Like if you remember, before Josh Myers, that's the most recent one, right? Before Josh Myers, who was it? Corey Linsley, remember? They drafted Corey Linsley, and he started as a rookie right off the bat, if I remember correctly, too. So there's precedent.
From Ohio State, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's precedent for that, right? There's also an aging player at the position whose guaranteed money is gone, and you can free up a ton of cap space by moving on. All right, so there's another reason why you would think they could. Now the question becomes, does Jacob Monk take another step to become a starting center? Now you can ask yourself the same thing in terms of Sean Ryan, but the problem there is Sean Ryan's in the final year of his deal. Also, let's say they do go that route, Nathan, and they decide they're moving on from Melton, and Jacob Monk doesn't work out, right? Then you go try to draft one. But what if the draft board doesn't fall just right? I would not be surprised if they kick Zach Tom to center, and then you got Anthony Belton, second-round pick, ready to step in at right tackle. You've got Jordan Morgan potentially there. Who knows what's going to happen with Rasheed Walker? If Rasheed Walker balls out this year, we may get to week 6 or 7 and Goody have one of those rare in-season contract extensions, which he doesn't like to do often. So, yeah, I think there's a chance. It's a long-winded way of getting there. I just wanted to kind of walk you through the thought process, what goes through my mind. It's not just I think I'll answer this way. It does look like there's a chance they could be looking to draft a center in this upcoming draft. I could see that. What do you think, Jacob, that question?
Yeah, it's tough. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how Elton handles this. It really does. And if, like you said, if he comes in and he performs the way that he is, but we have to remember that he's pushing 30, right? Isn't he 29, about to be 30, if not already 30?
Yeah.
The Packers just, they're like Leo DiCaprio, baby. They ain't going to, and dating the oldies, they want these young guys that are in there, and
they're anti-Jacob. They ain't
hey, early bird special is great. I just think that Monk has actually shown a lot, and the fact that they are willing to stick with him, they didn't draft him for no reason. It's the NFL, like we always say, is not for long, and even though a guy like Jenkins supposedly has a strong staple in this community, in this team, it sucks, but it's a business, right? And so I don't necessarily think that means that he's going to stay here for the foreseeable future, especially if whatever's going on right now isn't just an injury. If it is for some reason him, holding out or whatever, I'm not saying that whatsoever. I do believe that he does have a back issue. I think when you watch the interviews, you can see Goody and LaFleur being like, look, I don't want to answer this question anymore. He actually is hurt. He's not just gaming us kind of thing. But on the flip side, if that's the case, then the Green Bay Packers are not scared to move on from players. They've shown that very clearly over the past 10, 20, 30, their whole career as Packers. We know that they will move on if they think that it's going to be better for the team. And real quick, Tim did just send a text saying that I'll DM you a pic of Williams with no helmet, meaning Savion Williams, I don't believe, is actually practicing full hole right now. So
we've heard reports.
That.
Yeah, we heard reports that he did have his helmet on. He's practicing. Then we heard reports that he was working with the trainer off to the side with no helmet. We've seen him come out of the facility with no helmet, right? So yeah. Got it. Appreciate that question there, though, Nathan. You're the man. So Spofford, a little update here. Obviously, the last thing we covered was the Reed catch, right? I think we got up on the screen. Yeah. So twos in the red zone. Wilson takes an outside handoff and gets the edge with ease. Talking about Emmanuel Wilson. Next play, the defense bows up and gives Wilson nowhere to go up the middle, blowing up the play. And then here we go, boys and girls. Matthew Golden with a nifty outside in move at the goal line, rises to snag Willis's throw for a touchdown. You could see QB2 trusting the Packers rookie will get enough separation to make the play. So it sounds like Willis hitting Matthew Golden with a little anticipatory throw. That's exciting, man. Matthew Golden, I'm telling you, boys, seen a lot of receivers come through, a lot of young receivers come through Green Bay in the last couple of decades. Something looks different about Matthew Golden. It's almost, Jacob, as if Goody actually had a first-round grade on him.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's very very unbelievable to think that was what happened. Honestly, all jokes aside, I just like Ed was just saying right here, it's weird. Like I think Ryan also mentioned this on his podcast. It's not the fact that he shows that he has that blazing speed. It's just it's so smooth. And if I'm not mistaken, did you compare him to Greg Jennings? Like how he gets in and out of his routes just with ease. But it also looks to me like he has more. It's like a Greg Jennings and Christian Watson hybrid. You know what I mean? Where he's got that blazing speed. He has the route running ability. He knows how to secure the catch. What I really liked about watching his highlights is that he has that pinpoint where he connects with the ball, the catch rate, catch point, and he knows how to almost effortlessly, like without looking upfield, knows what the next move is going to kind of be, if that makes sense. Like he just seems fluid. And that's I think the best is Chris, the casual one, says Greg Jennings on steroids. Well, all right, let's go.
Oh, let's don't say that. Let's don't get that out.
Don't test him. Don't test him. But he really does. He seems like he's got a spark plug in his butt. You know, he's ready to go, man.
Dang, it's a family show, Jake. What are we doing? Hey, see, since it is a family show, hit that like button for us. We appreciate it. We got a bunch of people in there. We did crack the 500 mark. Y'all are awesome. We hit that mark because a bunch of people hit like on the stream. I'm telling you, it helps more than you know. We appreciate that.
It really does.
Ryan Wood says Trey Hill with his third bad snap of camp just sailed it over Malik Willis's head in shotgun. Uh-oh, Trey. Uh-oh, buddy.
Trey Hill, that was the guy we signed from Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
Anybody that Cincinnati lets go, I don't know.
So we get a little more detail on that Matthew Golden touchdown. As Ryan Wood said, Matthew Golden touchdown, excellent break on a slant route to cut in front of cornerback Gregory Jr., and Malik Willis delivers a 4-yard score. So important there, slant route, right? And it was on Gregory Jr., so it wasn't like it was on one of our top DBs. That's important to know, right? I don't want to overhype someone either. And then he goes on to say Matthew Golden's second touchdown in this period, good protection. Jordan Love holds it for a beat, finds Golden open on a crosser in the back end zone, pulling away from Carrington Valentine for a short score. So now you're seeing Matthew Golden score a touchdown from Jordan Love on a crosser with Carrington Valentine in coverage. Carrington Valentine, guys, didn't give up a single touchdown last year. So just keep that in mind. Now, I know this is camp. That's not to say, oh, no, Valentine's in trouble. It's just I put a lot more stock, Jacob, in that Matthew Golden second touchdown than maybe the one that was on Gregory Jr., if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. 100%. Yeah, for sure.
All right. You just keep coming through the chat. I'm going to take a look and see what other updates we got. It looks like Spofford just did a quick little tweet dump. I almost said dump, but that would have sounded bad. He just had a couple out here. Here we go. Yeah, twos in the red zone. Wilson takes a handoff. We talked about that. Golden with the nifty outside in move. We talked about it. Here we go. Ones in the red zone. LVN gets the pressure and sack of Love off the edge. Then the O-line opens up a huge hole for Lloyd up the middle. With extra time, Love finds Golden cutting across the end zone. Haddon breaks up. Front pylon throw for Dobbs. Lots of competitiveness out there for the Packers. So that's really great information. So you got LVN getting the sack. Then you got Marshawn Lloyd running through a huge hole there up the middle. And then with extra time, Love finds Golden cutting across the end zone. That's the touchdown we just talked about. Looks like Haddon over there too, covering Dobby, breaking up a pass. So that's good.
I like that.
We haven't talked about Kamal Haddon at all, have we, Jake?
Oh, and that's a guy that I really had a lot of hopes for. He's the Tennessee guy, if I'm not mistaken, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah, he was drafted in the 6th round by the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe they cut him loose. Packers picked him up. And it's a perfect example. We didn't even mention Kamal Haddon just a second ago when we're talking about potentially Bo Melton making it at corner, man. You see what I'm saying? Like, I personally would rather have Kamal Haddon at corner than Bo Melton, although that could change. We get a little preseason snaps with Bo playing corner.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And that's what's really tough is, Bo Melton, it's so hard because he's such a fan favorite and he's a favorite of mine. But like you said, I mean, just assuming that he can switch a position, move to that position, and then all of a sudden make the team over guys that, are like, let's say Kalen King, Micah Robinson, even Tyron Herring. We've heard lots of good stuff about Gregory Jr. Kamal Haddon to me is right there in the mix too. I think he was like a kind of a more physical cornerback as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's tough, man. Like, what do I want to do? If you put the water gun to my head, do I take, Melton or do I really give it to a guy that's played probably his whole career as an actual DB? I think I'd have to probably give it to Kamal if I had to make that choice. It sucks, really, honestly, to have to make that, but I don't know. And honestly, Tyron Herring, I think if I remember correctly, he's like 6'3", 210 pounds. Like, the dude's he's a human meat missile right there, is what he is, and he's coming for you. He's coming for your lunch money, brother.
There you go. And it looked like with the Kamal Haddon pass breakup, I think it was Wes Hodkowitz put out a little more detail. I think it's who it was. I've got so many windows open over here. Yeah, it was a goal line fade for Dobbs, and that's Dobby's bread and butter. So Kamal Haddon breaking it up. That's good news for him, for sure. So I think we're all caught up on the tweets. I imagine practice will be wrapping up soon. We'll take you all the way to the end of it for sure. Check this out. Matt Schneidman put this tweet out. Bang, Bubba Frank's in the building. Bubba looked like he'd still play out there, man. Bubba Franks was a tight end that played for the Packers when I became a Packer fan. Man, I remember him so well. Bubba Franks was a big old boy, Jake, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to think of what his size was, but I do think he was very, very large. Let's see here. Bubba Franks, height and weight. 6'6", 265. Good Lord. Yeah, and that was back under the Mike Sherman offense where they like to run those heavy sets, 3 tight ends with one being, as we called U71 Bacon, which was Kevin Berry going in there as a tight end, knowing he wasn't going to catch no pass. He was just out there to push guys around. So I think Tim actually had tweeted at me or said he had sent a picture or something. I'm just following his account here. Oh, we got some good stuff. We got some good stuff from Tim. You want to go to a little bit of live footage here, Jacob, just a second ago?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Surprise, surprise. He's over on the defensive side. We got the big defensive lineman over here working, right? And we're going to keep it muted. We don't want to give away any secrets here. But Kenny Clark, Devontae White, Rashawn Gary together there, looking like it is a hot one out there. What a beautiful day in Green Bay, man. Crowd, look at the crowd in the background too, Jake. It looks like it's packed out.
Yeah. And I love how I'm assuming that's Covington right there. Yeah, Coach Covington. Look how he's working with Nazir Stackhouse. How the guys in the background, like he's got the rookie UDFA in the back. He's working with him hard. Look what he's doing. He's looking back at Gary, Wyatt, and Clark. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like he's taking a guy that to me says that Stackhouse has some potential. I don't think that he would take the time to coach a guy, look back at his 3 biggest starters on that defensive line and say, hey, this is what I'm doing to this guy. This is what I'm trying to teach you. You know what I'm saying? Like he that to me bodes very well for Nazir Stackhouse of making this 53. Am I crazy for thinking that?
No, dude, not at all. I mean, let's take a look at it real quick. When you look at the defensive line, right, and obviously he's one that's going to be competing for nose tackle. And you see you got defensive tackle. So let's just focus on D tackle, nose tackle, which is your interior defensive lineman, right? Kenny Clark, Devontae White, Kobe Wooden, Carl Brooks, And then from there, those are the only four I really feel like are locks. And some people believe Kobe Wooden is on the bubble. I don't know if he is or not. But there's your top four. Let's just call it that. So Warren Brinson, James Esther, Nazir Stackhouse, Keith Randolph. Me personally, I think it's between Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson. Warren Brinson was a draft pick. So if you carry 5, Jacob, break camp of 5, I think it's going to be Warren Brinson along with Carl Brooks, Kobe Wooden, Kenny Clark, and Devontae Wyatt. If you take 6, I'm taking Nas over Esther. Esther is proven you can get him to the practice squad. You can get Keith Randolph to the practice squad, right? Yeah. But Nazir Stackhouse, man, I think there's going to be somebody else that'll probably pull the trigger and go get him if he's available, and you try to sneak him onto the practice squad. I could be wrong, though. It might be the other way around. Maybe he flashes in camp. I don't know. But, yeah, if I'm keeping 6 defensive tackles, and I don't know if they'll carry that many. I think they carry 5 typically. I'm probably going to go with Stackhouse and Brinson. If there's 5, I probably got to go with Brinson, and then you try to get Stackhouse on the practice squad. It's going to be tough, though, man.
Yeah, I think that there might be a surprise here, and I think that maybe either Brooks or Wooden might not make this team. I really do think that.
And if you had to make that decision, Jacob, which one would you cut? Because I know who I would cut. You would cut Wooden? Yeah. That's me too, man. It's not even close. I think Carl has shown enough that he's probably your 3rd best defensive tackle. And here's the thing, too. He played a lot of one-tech for us. Many people don't know that. That's basically the nose in our nickel 4-2-5. And you don't think of Carl Brooks like that because Carl Brooks coming out of Bowling Green played a lot of 7 and 9 tech. He would play defensive end, right? Yep. So what we do, we came in and just threw him right into the one tech. As you can see here, some of the hands drills with the defensive lineman. That was Kenny. Here's Gary, right? This is all technical.
Dude, you see it? Looking?
Looked like me sneaking into the kitchen about 2 a.m. trying to get to the pie that Mandy wanted me to wait till the next day.
I was going to say, me at the buffet being like, where's the wontons?
Is that Nestor right there? Am I thinking right?
I believe so.
That's Randolph.
Oh, no, that's Randolph, yeah.
Who we got
I think that's Esther.
That's Carl. Is that Esther? No, you're right. That's Esther. Is this Stack? Who's this?
That's Stack, yep.
God, he is huge.
He's a big dude, bro.
I'm telling you, and again, man. It doesn't look like, most nose tackles, they got quite the belly on. This dude looks shredded, man.
Yeah, he does.
I'll tell you, Covington has been on Gary the entire time. Every camp practice video we see, Covington's working with Gary. What if Gary comes out this year and finally puts the naysayers to bed, just gets 18 sacks or something? Wouldn't that be awesome, man?
That would be great. Yeah, 100%.
Not at the detriment of the run defense getting worse, though, right? We do not want that to happen. So next video here, we'll just throw this in the background for a second. Nice little shot, not giving away any secrets here. They're just working on gap technique, gap drills, all that good stuff. I'm going to go back through and make another sweep. If you want to look at the chat real quick, Jacob, I'm going to look at this, take a quick sweep across social media, make sure we're not missing anything else.
Yeah, Coach is talking about how Wooden bulked up this year. I actually saw that too. Unfortunately, Joseph says buy Wooden, according to whether or not we're going to have that 5-man front there. I hate to – I'm such a homer that it's tough to try to, let guys that you kind of have a heart for go. I mean, it's a business, right? And it sucks that we have to do that every year. There was a comment last night, I believe, like, I'd hate to be the guy that has to make these final cuts. That would be the worst job I could ever have. If you offered me a job at the Green Bay front office, I'd be like, oh my God, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you got to make the cuts. I'd be like, nope, I'm going to go back to working my 9 to 5. All right. I couldn't do that. Joseph talks about how he'd keep Brinson and Stackhouse. It'd be great, but there's only a limited amount of snaps that we can do. That's just what it is. Doc's talking about Gary's a dog. I really love the fact he looks the part right now. He looks like he's ready to absolutely eat. It stinks, man. Ed Madden says, and cutting to Caleb's nail painting time? No, we would never do that. He's got a guy. I'm sure he's got a girl that does that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So you guys are so toxic in here. It's unbelievable. All right. So it looks like toward the end of practice here, Ryan Wood bringing us down the stretch. What we'll do is look at a couple other Twitter accounts before we wrap up. If you guys would hit that like button for us, we're about to break 550 on the live stream. Thank y'all so much for supporting what we're doing here. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. click that bell for notifications so you know every time we do go live. Ryan Wood said, we talked about the slant, the second touchdown. Jordan Love under pressure throws a jump ball to Tucker Kraft in the end zone, and that's usually a safe bet. Kraft boxes out Evan Williams for the 12-yard score. So you got our boy Tucker Kraft getting the 12-yard touchdown, mossing Evan Williams, it sounds like. And this is interesting right here, Jacob. Ryan Wood says, everybody in a Packers jersey doing push-ups after today's practice, offense and defense. Can't remember seeing it called a tie before. So Matt LaFleur pulled a fast one on him, I believe. He said, it's a tie. Everybody get down and do your push-ups. So there you go. As practice looks like it's about ready to wrap up, we will go ahead and close that one out. And I want to say there was another update over here. Mock Spofford. Let's see. I love getting everybody's kind of take on it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you get a few more details out of different tweets. One in the red zone, blah, blah, blah. LVN gets a sack. We talked about that. Okay, here we go. End of game scenario. Down by 6. No timeouts. 9 seconds left. Again, last play of the game. Down by 6. No timeouts. 9 seconds left. Ball in the red zone. Love overthrows an open Dobbs in the corner. Last play, he makes an incredible throw off his back foot with rushers in his face, and Kraft hauls it in over the middle for a touchdown. Great bounce back moment for Packers QB1. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the detail we need right there. So, again, man, when you need a play, go to Tucker Kraft. That's what it sounds like for sure. So, and then another update here from – I won't put it up on the screen. I'll just leave this up for right now. Wes Hodkowitz says, nice ball from Clifford to Brown for 7 yards and then hits him again on a 5-yard crosser for the touchdown. That's it for practice. So, Clifford to Brown. Who's Brown? Who am I thinking about?
Sam, I believe it's Sam Brown.
Sam Brown. Yep, Sam Brown Jr. There you go. Good call, Jake. You always know the bottom of the roster dudes, man.
Hey, those are my gems, brother. Those are my gems. By the speaking of the bottom of the barrel, we got Funny Boy Rody saying,
love that
kept
profile
sleeping.
pic, by the way.
Yeah, super cool. Said kept sleeping on the Vikings. Y'all gonna wake the F up. JJ McCarthy about to go crazy this year on all y'all weak defense. Within the grammar, you know, I love you, Funny Boy Roddy. You are.
You got hold to the wrong stuff.
No, seriously, I read stuff like this, and all I can think
Here's
is,
the guy.
like, kept sleeping. First of all, we need to get him some English lessons here. Kept sleeping
Hooked
on
on
the
phonics really helps. It does.
Y'all gonna wake TF up. JJ McCarthy about to go crazy this year on y'all weak defense. Now, Funny Boy Rody, I got a question for you, bub. Quick little question. If I were to ask you, let me get this down here real quick so we can get a little bit intimate here. If I had to ask you, who has won more games in the National Football League, the Green Bay Packers or the Minnesota Vikings? Who do you think that would be? If I had to ask you, who has won more head-to-head matchups in the history of the NFL, the Packers or the Vikings? If I had to ask you, who has won more divisional championships, the NFC North, NFC Central, whatever you want to call it from back in the day, would it be the Packers or the Vikings? It would be the Packers. Who has won the most conference championships, NFC championships? It would be the Packers. How about Super Bowls? It would be the Packers. And the final question is NFL championships, just in general, since just the day they came in the league. It would be Packers. What the hell are you doing here talking trash, bro?
Yeah.
Seriously, I don't understand. I hope one day I have the confidence, the self-confidence, the self-image, Jacob, to be able to go to someone who has absolutely dominated me in every facet of the topic in which we are conversing on and go, we're better than you. A rookie quarterback. A rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could say what I want to say. I probably won't. I mean, I don't know. Being like a Vikings fan, it's kind of like being the tallest midget. Doesn't matter, you know? Does it really matter anywhere? I really don't know. But hey, I love the confidence, like Clayton said, the confidence that you came in here with, running and charging up. That's great.
No, yeah, dude, you removed the facts. It sounded great.
Yeah,
right?
if you take away all the facts and the statistics and all of like the history, you got a good point, bro.
It's a good description of Viking fans. Like they've never won anything, and they're so confident. I'm telling you, I kind of respect them. I respect it, man. The fact that you can just ignore reality and kind of go into your own little world like that. It truly is. You guys, some of the stuff you say, it's like you're a damn Uber driver and you ain't got a car. I'm like, what are we even doing? What's the goal here? What are we even talking about? So
you're an Uber driver with no destination. You're just out there just driving. Man.
Just know this: when we meet you twice this year, you're going to be begging for Sam Darnold back. I have a feeling. I've seen the camp highlights of JJ McCarthy, and boy, oh boy, you guys are crowning him like he is just the second coming. Just know when we meet twice this year, it's belt to ass. All right, it's coming. Don't be surprised when it happens. You can be disappointed. I'll allow you to be disappointed. Just don't be surprised when it happens. And with that being said, hit that like button. We appreciate you tuning in here.
Yeah,
Packers podcast. As Packers on Top says, took time out of his day to join the Packers podcast. Listen, man, I get it. Packers on Top. Get it. Could you imagine rooting for the Vikings and having to listen to Paul Allen and those?
I was just gonna say, yes, listen to Paul Allen.
I kind of feel sorry for him. I really do. It's like
I really do too.
It'd be horrible, absolutely horrible. So, Jacob, I think that's it, man. I think we got all the way through practice. I did not plan on staying live through the whole practice, but we did it, man.
Yeah, we did.
Anything else you want to add? Is there anything else anybody's seen? Let us know. I'm just combing through Twitter one last time here, and we'll put this up just to kind of take a shot here.
Yeah, you go ahead, surf Twitter real quick. Yeah, surf Twitter real quick. What I would maybe promote is that, again, we are about to, at 12 a.m. midnight, we're going to open it up to the public / Patreon subscribers that want to join our PTA, our Patreon Fantasy League. It's going to be amazing. It is a super flex with 2 defensive players league. It's going to be really, really awesome. It's a $50 buy-in. If you guys want to get into that, we're going to have a rollover if you do not get into the original league. And it's going to be just an absolute blast. Absolutely. And I will say one more thing. Did you watch Happy Gilmore 2 last night?
I have not watched it yet. Mandy was out spending my money shopping until about 11 o'clock last night. So we
loved Happy Gilmore 2. We usually don't even address these types of things on the podcast, but as we're leaving, I want to know in the chat, did you guys like it? I think they stayed true. They did a bunch of callbacks. They had a ton of money grabs, obviously, but I really did think that they did it the best way that possibly you could do a Happy Gilmore sequel. So I encourage you guys to go out and watch it. It's going to be fun. If you don't know a lot of the golfers, that's probably going to be a lot of the jokes will go over your head. But I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really great. And I was really surprised because usually Hollywood takes franchises that we love and just throws them into the ground and poops all over them. So I thought it was amazing, and I encourage you to watch it. Also, like, subscribe, share this content right now. We're going to be going live again tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. as we do most days, especially as we get revamped into the season. You guys might see us start doing 2-a-days. The guys are doing 2-a-days. They're doing, pre-camp stuff, getting their body right and tight. So are we. We're going to start doing, we're putting ourselves up. Me and Clayton get to the gym sometimes. And
not this guy. Not this guy. If I'm in the gym, I'm picking somebody up. They needed a ride. You know what I mean? I'm just helping somebody a ride. So I'm one of those weird dudes that I walk on average about 12 miles a day with what I do on the daily. And I try to do about 200 push-ups a night, and I call it good enough. You know what? The good Lord comes, gets me. That's fine. I'm staying away from the gym, though, Jake. So I know you're in there, though, getting swole. I know how that goes. Let's go to the Patreon questions real quick to finish these up. I've neglected them way too long. Ron Sanville says, did the Packers change number 16, Bo Melton, to cornerback, knowing his value on teams and also knowing he likely had no chance to make the 53rd receiver position, so he would be lost for teams as well? I think that's a pretty good assessment there, Ron. I think it's just them trying to give him an opportunity to add some extra value to his stock to make the team. He is a special teams player. I think he plays gunner, if I remember correctly. So if that's the case, why not keep him around for that? But again, man, it's just a stacked roster. You got a player who was extremely valuable 2 years ago as a wide receiver. He broke the 100-yard mark. Ironically, he gained 100 yards in that huge New Year's Eve win over the Minnesota Vikings in their own house.
Wasn't he the only receiver that went over 100 yards last year?
So think about that. How much he contributed 2 years ago to the point where he may not even make the roster shows you how they've advanced this roster. You know what I mean? It's definitely got better. Chris in the Patreon question said, Clayton, listening to your camp review from Saturday morning, why can't Hobbs and CV work as starting outside cornerbacks with Bull in a slot? K9, take a seat, in my opinion. I would lean toward that too, Chris, but the coaches seem to disagree, at least early on. It kind of feels like it's Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine battling for that spot opposite of Nate Hobbs, and it sounds like Keyshawn Nixon has the upper hand right now. I will say this about Keyshawn. First one on the practice field today. There was multiple people tweeting about that. So, man's doing everything he can to kind of hold that spot. And I think what it's probably going to be, Chris, it's going to be a camp battle there. We get to the last week of camp. That's when we can really have a conversation about, okay, who's pulling ahead? Is it going to be Carrington? Is it going to be Keyshawn? I hate to say this, but it happens just about every year. Most of the times when you get these kind of camp battles, an injury will decide it for you. Not a major injury. It might just be a 2-week setback or something. All of a sudden, that person. That's why it took a little while to get Edgerrin Cooper on the field more consistently, because injury kind of took him down during training camp last year. So just keep that in mind. And then Roger Davis says, what do you guys feel are the strongest rooms on offense and defense? I'm thinking the most competitives are wide receiver and linebacker. Looking forward to your opinions. Roger, that's a great question. Great question. Jacob, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you? What are the strongest rooms on offense and defense? Let's start with offense. What do you think the strongest room on offense is?
It's got to be wide receiver. I mean, that's an easy answer for me. Yeah, okay. Wide receiver. Although running back room also, like we talked about earlier in this episode, is that's pretty stacked. Stacked.
I was going to say running back. I think it's running back, receiver, then quarterback, because I do think Malik Willis adds a lot of extra value to that room.
I agree.
And that's kind of typically how you separate yourself, you know. When you
you could argue tight end, which is such a crazy thing. You know what I mean? Like, we've got and this is why, guys, when we say that this is our year, running back room stacked, wide receiver room stacked, quarterback room stacked, offensive line, you could argue, stacked. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, very true. Defense, Jacob, what would it be on defense? What room do you think?
To me, it's safety room. Safety room. Yeah, dude. Even if we got 2 injuries, which God forbid, I don't want to happen, we still got studs. We got studs.
No, it's so true. That's the one thing too why I wasn't overly concerned about the cornerback room this year going in, because you know who you got backing you up back there, man. You got Xavier McKinney, who's an All-Pro, and then you got our boy Evan Williams, who made the PFWA All-Rookie team last year. Well, so. And
then obviously you got Zane Anderson. We haven't talked about Keaton Holm at Depot. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. So, yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it. And again, if you want to get your questions read on the air here, it's Super Chats, and or you can join our Patreon group, patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. Again, we're going to be doing a giveaway. If we go live tonight, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, there's a chance we don't. You guys just keep your eyes to the YouTube channel here. We may go live tonight. We've covered a lot here today, so I don't want to just get in here and us just kind of poke around, not do anything. But when we go live, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, we're going to be putting anyone who is a member here on YouTube. You can just hit that join tab if you're not familiar with Patreon. You get more content in our Patreon group for the same price there. Basically $3 will get you access to everything, but also to get you entered into the giveaways. We're going to be giving away an autographed Dontavion Wicks rookie card for a lucky member of our Patreon group and or our YouTube channel here. So again, thank you guys so much for jumping back in here. I apologize for my mistake there on the live stream, ending it early. You can go watch both of them if you'd like. They're both going to be up here on the YouTube channel, but you guys jumped right back in here and brung the thunder. Hit that like, hit subscribe. We will see you guys either tonight or tomorrow night for PTA Live. Padded practice tomorrow. Going to be plenty to talk about tomorrow night. You guys stay safe out there. We'll see you soon.
Here we go. Bye, guys.